And if you want to table it, we can all discuss that between now and next month.
I think there was a motion.
Okay, yeah, there was a motion and a second for
And
table
second.
the
All right, let's do that.
discussion. So if there is no further discussion or questions or comments, you can put it to a vote. Okay, hearing none. All in favor of tabling the recommendation for the appointment of finance director? Aye?
No?
Opposed? Aye. So we have a 2-2 vote split, which I guess with 4 people here.
No, it just fails. That just failed after we brought back up.
Okay.
It didn't matter.
All right. Moving on to item E, we have some people from the public that would like to speak. First up, Ms. Reddish. And then Mr. Hannah will be right after Ms. Reddish.
Alicia Reddish, 815 Bryson Street. So I wasn't really prepared to talk tonight, but I have to agree to some of the ones that spoke on behalf of Mr. Sessions. I think he does an amazing job. I'm really big on accountability to people, and he has always stayed true to doing things and making things happen. I think we've gotten a position where some of these meetings I don't come to because I'm busy and I just can't handle the stress of the nonsense that seems to be discussed sometimes. It's a difference of opinions on, you know, well, they should do this or they should do that or what have you, but the man has credentials. Look at his credentials. He is well able to do his job. Let him do his job. He can't get to everyone. There are so many times that this man will go above and beyond. And that's what I mostly respect about him. So, you know, I think you should allow him to do a good job. Keep him as city manager because our city needs it. We are growing by leaps and bounds. We're getting new people coming. You know, I get a lot of feedback from people from all different areas and, wow, Live Oak, you know, I hear so much about it. And then they come to these meetings or they watch the tapes and then they're like, what in the world is going on? You know, we're grown adults, we're trying to make decisions, and we need to be respectful, responsive, and accountable for our decisions. Thank you.
Let me say this.
We have another person to speak.
I think y'all misunderstand.
Good evening, Wayne Hanica, Live Oak, Florida, representing concerned citizens of North Florida. I'm just here to repeat what everybody said already. Larry Sessions does an awesome job. Yes, there are little conflicts between the council and, it seems like the council and everybody lately.
Amen.
But we need to get past that. We need to keep moving forward. We need to stop bickering and let the man do his job. You hired the man to do a job, let him do it. And keep him there. We need consistency in the city and we need somebody that cares about it. And he certainly does. Thank you.
Anybody?
For discussion. All right, so we'll go ahead and read into effect the agenda item 6E. Just says discussion with possible council action, city manager contract renewal. I want to yield to the attorney on this one, first and foremost.
Yes, City Council Resolution number 2025-01 was passed January 14th of 2025, and that particular resolution provides, I'll just read it. Whereas the city by this resolution authorizes, approves, confirms, and ratifies the renewal of the contract for a 1-year term. Thereafter, the contract shall be automatically renewed for a term of 1 year unless terminated by either party in accordance with the contract. So the issue would be whether or not anyone would move to terminate it. If not, pursuant to that resolution, it would automatically renew for a new year.
I make a motion that we terminate the contract.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second.
I'm gonna tell you why I second, but in order to be able to discuss, because this item shouldn't have been on the agenda, because,
No
first
evaluation
of all,
has been
that's right, we have not done the evaluation.
2 years, no evaluation.
Everybody getting out there and talking about this and that, about Mr. Sessions, but this should have even been brought up until we adequately do his performance review.
I'm sorry, I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead and finish.
Yeah, how can we sit here and talk about job performance? There's also an ordinance, I believe, where the job description of our city manager is laid out. It was redone back in 2014. The council sits as the governing body, and the manager, we are a strong council, then manager, then mayor. This governing body called council, all right, man, is the controlling factor. But to sit here and to say that, and I don't know how y'all got termination and all that on this agenda, which should have been, we cannot, in my opinion, and I was advocate of trying to get Mr. Sessions here and all that, to really, until we look at his performance review. Then we can make a decision after that. Something came out, but I've seen an email, I guess from Mr. Sessions, but it didn't make a hill of bean to me, or some sense to me about things. But how can we sit in judgment when there has not been a performance review concerning his performance? Now, if he's not following the job title, in my opinion, I'll give insubordination, all right? As far as what his job title is spelled out in I believe, our ordinance, and what you, the citizens, had voted on back in 2014, the form of government that we shall abide by, and that this would be a strong city council, and that the city manager would work under the city council. We hired, terminate, same thing with the attorney. But to sit here and all of a sudden we done fired the man and terminated the man and all that, that's not fair.
I'm not sure what you're saying, but I want to go on record before you interrupt. I know personally, I have conducted my evaluation and sat down and had a meeting with Mr. Sessions to review that evaluation, the same as I did with Mr. Curtis previously. I don't know where you're coming from, but I can just speak from where I'm from. I have done the evaluation.
So we have to confirm the same. I sat down, had evaluation that was emailed to us. I filled out, me and Larry sat down, we had a whole meeting, went over the evaluation, both sides, how we felt, and
That's what I was gonna say, I sent this out to everybody.
Right.
I got two back, so.
Mr. Attorney,
There you go.
did we have a meeting that stated that we had to be in agreement on that evaluation?
Correct, and I can address that. The contract provider needs to be in agreement. So the one that we've used in the past that got emailed out is the City of Live Oak, Florida Managerial Employees Annual Performance Evaluation Form. Then I was presented with a proposal for an additional, I guess, city manager performance evaluation that's based on what was put out by the ICMA, which is the International City County Management Association. So if we want to cross all the T's, dot the I's, then maybe tonight, then we agree on what is going to be the performance evaluation and agree that they'll be completed and then meet with Mr. Sessions to review them. And then we can bring back this either CRA, as a special meeting or in the February meeting.
And that is what we decided, that is what, I'm talking back so that everybody can hear me. And that is what we said at the last meeting that we had to be in agreement about what tool that we were going to use for his evaluation. And Mr. Session sends out what he determines that is what he is going to be evaluated on. So that is the reason why I said, okay, then if that's in your contract is to terminate, is the only way that we're going to get to this, then terminate. We haven't did an evaluation on him that he agreed to and the council agrees to.
So maybe the best course of action tonight would be to vote on which form we're gonna use, whether it be one or both, and then see if we have an agreement between the council and Mr. Sessions as provided by the contract, and then schedule a time for, I guess, meetings with him to go over the evaluation.
Yes.
And then that way, the evaluations are public record, they've all been completed, they've all been turned in, and we'll know exactly the forms we're gonna use and the date that we're gonna discuss it. That may be the best procedure.
How long has the evaluation form that was on file with the city that we've used, and it's used for, I think it's for the manager and then departmental heads, how long has that been in
I
effect?
think we used it for George Curtis.
Right,
Yes.
prior to that, how long has it been in effect?
That I don't know.
And I just need to send it out. I conferred with Mr. Gill and with the attorney on what do y'all want to have, and they said, well, this is what we've used in the past, so that's why I chose to send it out. I didn't have any preference on, there's 11 very comprehensive items on this thing, but I think it's a pretty good evaluation, but I asked Mr. Gill and the attorney what they thought as far as the evaluation form, and that's why I chose to send that one out.
Mr. Attorney,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned two forms. When can, so we can evaluate these two forms as council and then figure out which direction form we can use to go with.
Well, I have the ICMA one right here. I'll give you copies tonight.
I think most
Yeah.
everybody's.
Everybody else has this one, I know.
The one you email out?
Yes, sir.
All right.
This ICMA one, I've got a blank one right here that I can make sure everybody's got copies in your box tonight or in the morning. Or
Okay,
email,
'cause
or
I've-
email it to you.
I've done evaluation, Mr. Curtis was here and all that, done evaluation and didn't quite understand my first year what to do. But 6 months after being on the board, here come evaluation in January. So if you have those forms and you put them in our box, then we can make an adequate decision on what form.
To Miss Robinson's point, you know, she brought the other form up, which is used for typically if you're certified under the International City County Management Association, which Mr. Sessions is not. And so, you know, to be candid, we did not have an absolute agreement on we're going to use the form that got emailed out that's been done by some or all, and whether or not we were going to add this. So this was brought to my attention, and so I provided a copy to Mr. Sessions and all of the other council members. So again, to avoid any future problems or issues, if we can come to a consensus that if Mr. Sessions is okay with it, we would use both forms, and then those would be turned in by a date certain, and if you want to discuss them with him, I'm assuming he'll make himself available, but then going forward, there will be no issue as to these would be the two forms to evaluate the city manager.
Having two different forms?
Well, I would look at it more as this is the form we've used in the past for
Correct.
city managers.
Right.
Ms. Robinson brought up one that's in a much different format. It's a question type format. For instance, demonstrates integrity, ethical conduct, and adherence to ICMA Code of Ethics. As I discussed with Ms. Robinson, that probably be the Florida Code of Ethics, because Mr. Sessions would not be under that particular Code of Ethics. There's a place for a score.
Correct.
And then a place for comments, and above all of the questions, The scale is 5 exceptional, consistently exceeds expectations, all the way down to the bottom, unsatisfactory, consistently below expectations, and then 2, 3, and 4 are described in between. So if we want to not have this problem going forward, if we agree that this would be the primary form, this would be an addendum, and then going forward for the city manager, since as I put it, the addendum would only apply to the manager position, then we know what we're doing every year hereafter, and then we set the meeting to which they will need to be turned in prior. And if you want to meet with Mr. Sessions, he would make himself available.
Yeah, we'll do that for the interview, for the evaluation. But we will have one uniform evaluation form, correct?
Well, if the consensus tonight is to use the managerial employee one that got emailed initially, that's been used in the past,
Right.
and then if it's the council's pleasure to add the ICMA format as an addendum to the one that we've used in the past, then those two collectively would be the future, the current and then the future evaluation form as a form and an addendum. So we're not saying two forms, then we're going to get confused. It'd be this form, which is the City of Live Oak, Florida Managerial Employees Annual Performance Evaluation Form, with addendum A would be the city manager performance evaluation as outlined by the ICMA best practices.
Which he's not held under the ICMA because he's
Not their ethics or their.
So why are we even entertaining something that he's not held to that extent? I don't understand. It's like we're reinventing the wheel for absolutely no reason whatsoever. There's a very comprehensive evaluation already in place that has a spot at the very end for additional comments. You can add addendums, you can add attachments, which I took advantage of. It just seems a little bit staged. It seems a little bit not in good faith, to be quite honest.
Well, let me respond to him regarding that right there.
Sure, please.
No, it is in good faith. It is in good faith because the form the original form, that was a form that was done by someone else, not by this council, the 5 people who sit on this council, okay? So, you and
Actually,
Mr.
I think you're misspeaking because I had nothing to do with that evaluation.
Okay, well, guess what? This council member right here wants to have a little bit of input into the categories that we use to evaluate.
I understand that, and I'll be glad to, next meeting, once we agree on whatever format that we're going to agree on, but I would like for it to go on record now that they're read publicly and that they're made public record, so that everybody can see in the council, in the public, that we're actually literally arguing over a format right now, because all the same categories are covered in both. They're just in different formats. So I understand if that's what you want, I'll be glad to bend the knee and we can add that as an addendum.
Thank you.
It doesn't change anything as far as the evaluation process itself. So it just seems redundant is what I'm trying to put forward.
If you
That's
go
why
back to
that is in that.
when the city manager position was established, it was an agreement that the council, and this was back in 2014.
I don't really
believe, or
require a history lesson, ma'am.
No, but I'm
All
telling you
saying
how
is
they
that-
got to this right here.
That's wonderful.
It was
but we're here
where
now.
the city council and the city manager had to agree upon what the tool that they were going to use in order for his performance and evaluation to be done.
And that's what I'm saying, we can accomplish that tonight if we agree that this would be the evaluation form. When I say this, the record is clear, the managerial employees annual performance evaluation form. If it's the council's pleasure, we can add the ICMA as an addendum, and then we would determine.
I don't agree with the
Mr. Sessions-
language ICMA or ICMYA because he's not held to those. If we want to change it to something that's held to a Florida Code of Ethics standard, that's acceptable. But
I'm not
assuming
seeing that.
international,
I'm not seeing that.
I mean, to me, that's not even rational reason.
Most city
It is my opinion.
Most
and I'm
city
a-
managers in the state of Florida belong to IMCA.
So I guess we would need the council.
We have a motion on the table for, to actually accept, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Except-
Accept the evaluation with the addendum, is that correct?
Well, we currently have a motion and a second for termination. Mr. Jefferson brought up the excellent point that we need to maybe figure out the evaluation process before we get to that point, and that's where we've now progressed. So we would need to dispose of the first motion.
Right.
And if it's the council's pleasure, we establish the protocol/form for this evaluation and others going forward, unless the city council changes it in the subsequent year. And then we would have the item placed back on the February agenda. Gives everybody the opportunity, if the council's pleasure, is to add the addendum, have those completed, and then opportunity if, I guess, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Alford wanted to again meet with Mr. Sessions on their evaluations.
All right, because,
Okay, so.
okay, go ahead, let me just say, let me say this thing. I mean, I need that second, just to be able to make some discussion.
Understood.
And now I'm willing to rescind my session, my second, but the motion still.
We would
No,
have to.
okay, I'm rescinding,
Okay, we're going, so she rescinds.
I'm
he
rescinding my
rescinds-
motion
Right.
for the termination of Mr. Sessions. And,
Mr. Jefferson has rescinded his second, so we have no motion on the floor. So maybe the next step would be for the council to, from the council's perspective, decide what form they want to use. Mr. Sessions accepts it tonight. We've got that recorded in a public meeting, and then we can entertain a motion to have the evaluations completed, and if you desire to meet with Mr. Sessions, it'll be on the February meeting.
I make a